So, good morning, everyone. Hi, I'm Alessandro. Nice to meet you all, and thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. I know that this kind of conference is a little bit of a slow burner, and this is very early in the morning. And I know that there's a lot of great content here, and the avenue is amazing. So, very thankful for you taking the time and being here. So, thank you, and thanks for the organization for finding a way to squeezing me in kind of the last moment. So, it's very, very nice to be here. I'm going to be talking about Wallby today, which is a project we've been working on for a little bit over 2 years now. Does any of you know Wallby already? Do you have Wallby on your Android phone? Unluckily, because it's only available on Android for now. Good, so all of you still can enjoy the wonder of downloading Wallby for the first time. And well, I want to start with a little bit of an introduction. So I was giving a similar presentation to this one a little over a month ago in Riga at Baltic Honey Badger. And I put in another slide before this one because in the long-standing tradition of Italian Bitcoin comedians like Giacomo Zucco, my partner and friend Giacomo, I wanted to be a little bit cheeky, a little bit edgy, and put a funny slide, but it kind of fell flat. So I omitted it this time. I'm just going to tell you about it. It was a slide that was a very flashy red text on a black background and was saying, beware, very sensitive content ahead, trigger words such as Ethereum, tokens, NFTs, Ethereum virtual machines. But a few people actually thought that since the presentation included those words, we were actually dealing with other stuff other than Bitcoin. So I wanted to take out that slide and explain it. So we're actually going to talk a little bit about tokens, NFTs, and Ethereum, especially in the context of Ethereum virtual machine in this presentation. But we are in no way dealing with other technologies, so we are 100% committed on Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about tokens because, as you will see, Wallby is a multi-chain wallet, but multi-chain vertical on Bitcoin. So it's going to be including sidechains of Bitcoin such as Liquid Network and Rootstock for now. And Rootstock is an Ethereum virtual machine. That's why we're going to also be nominating the E word Ethereum. And in the future, we're also going to be including Lightning Network, hopefully very soon. So that's why we're going to mention those terms. But we are 100% Bitcoiners for a very long time, and we're 100% committed on Bitcoin. So a couple of words about me. At the moment, one of the many things I do is following Wallby from a product point of view. I've been a Bitcoiner since 2013. In probably a couple of weeks, I'm going to have my Bitcoiner birthday and finally turn 10. And I've mostly been doing entrepreneurship and dissemination. Probably dissemination is what I love the most, and it's great to be back on stages after COVID. So that's also why I'm thankful for this event. One of the few companies I'm partner of and co-founders of are in Bitcoin, which is a Bitcoin research and development company in the heart of the Bitcoin Valley in the northeast of Trentino, where I'm from, in Rovereto, which, as far as we know, is the longest running Bitcoin-only local community. Bicademy, which we're going to talk about later, and it's the parent company of Wallby for now. Compro Euro, which is a brick-and-mortar Bitcoin exchange, again in the Bitcoin Valley, and Satoshi Design, which is our design and communication branch for events and communication. Of course, I'm the host of a podcast. Everybody has their own podcast, so I had to have mine too, and that's organized by Satoshi Design. Unfortunately, it's in Italian, so it's a very niche of the niche. And another thing I'm very proud of, I'm a co-founder of the Italian branch of the Blockchain Education Network. We do a lot of dissemination in Italy, and that's where I started back in 2014, talking to people about Bitcoin, and that's where I have the fondest memories I have. And also since, for this term, 2023, 2024, I'm also a member of the Liquid Federation membership board. So, again, we're one of the 3 people building of Liquid. I don't know if you saw the recent meme on Twitter. Well, but we see a lot of potential in Liquid. That's why we are committed. Also, Bicademy is a validator node of Liquid, so we see a huge potential of a Liquid sidechain. What is Wallby? Wallby, we can summarize in 2 words. 2 concepts. Wallby is an all-in-one wallet for Bitcoin, and a super app for Bitcoin. It's a term that is starting to get traction also in the Bitcoin ecosystem, and I think we were one of the first to use it for Wallby, but we think that it really, really well summarizes what Wallby is. Wallby is an all-in-one wallet because it lets users manage different coins and different assets from different Bitcoin-based networks, such as obviously main chain Bitcoin, Liquid Network, and Rootstock, and again in the future Lightning Network, on a single unique app with a single backup phrase in a convenient dashboard. And it's a super app because it's not only a wallet, but it's going to be an ecosystem of Bitcoin-based applications that users can access through that wallet and that dashboard. Okay, so we answered what is Wallby, and now we're going to answer why Wallby. As I said, me and my colleagues, we've been Bitcoiner for quite some time. Most of us have been since 2013, most of them also even earlier than that, and we had the chance to see the whole process that shaped the crypto world as it is today. We saw the advent of Ethereum and the different layer ones, and we saw how they, in our opinion, failed. Because while Bitcoin played the long game, Bitcoin developers have always been aware of the limits of layer 1 scalability, and they started working on layer 2 scalability very early. Instead, Ethereum wanted to play the short game to attract as many users as possible, and ended up facing the same problems as Bitcoin, but with a less robust ecosystem, especially with the advent of proof-of-stake layer 1, which we think compromised the stability of Ethereum. Of course, as I said, Bitcoin flourished in a different ecosystem with many sidechains, but it can be a little bit hard to navigate. And that's why we think we need Wallby, and that's what we want Wallby to be. A key to unlock this new world of many possibilities on Bitcoin and on top of Bitcoin. And again, who created Wallby? We're going to be a little back to the start. So Wallby was kickstarted by Bicademy, which again is a company I'm a partner of, which is the head company of what we think is the main Bitcoin business ecosystem in Italy that comprises all the different companies we talked about before. We started doing mostly education with Bicademy, as the name suggests, but then just like every company in this space, we ended up doing whatever was needed and whatever was requested by the clients. So most of our business at the moment is still education, but it's mostly consultancy and custom software development. Bicademy was funded by industry veterans. One of our founders is Giacomo Zucco, which I'm sure most of you know. And all of us have been working on this kind of stuff for a while. And again, we are very heavily invested in Bitcoin scalability. We put our effort where our mouth is, so we are validator members of the Liquid Federation, as I said before, with me serving on the membership board and our CTO, Antonio Parrella, serving on the technology board. And we had the pleasure to making ties with all the different partners and entities working in this space, so Blockstream for Bitcoin, Liquid and Lightning Network, IOV Labs for Rootstock, Sovereign for Rootstock, and many more of these people. So it's great to be part of a network of builders on top of Bitcoin. By the way, something that I think is relevant, Bicademy is 100% self-funded by us partners. And the same is for Wallby. Wallby has been incubated within Bicademy. We are at the point where we think that the best way for Wallby to grow is to spin off in its own entity. And so we know about competitors with 1/10 of our features, but a very, 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 very pretty website, very, very nice presentations, and probably prettier presenters than me. They are raising several millions of dollars. So if you're looking into investing in one of those companies, also talk to us. With that money, we can give you something that is already at the market, and we're building very good stuff. So talk to us. What is Wallby today? We just very recently released the last patch for Wallby last week, which is the version 0.10.0. And as I said before, the general idea of Wallby, so a Bitcoin-based super app, has been in our minds and in our brainstorming sessions for a little bit over 2 years, because it's something we've always felt the need as a company that was providing services to other businesses to accept Bitcoin, because we've always been giving people and businesses like point of sales, tokens, tokenization, notarization and stuff like that, and we always felt like the last mile was missing. So maybe we were helping companies to create their own tokens on Liquid, but then at the end of the day, they were asking, okay, but what wallet can I recommend to our users? So we always felt the lack of a proprietary wallet and super app we could give to our clients for their users. So Wallby, the general idea of Wallby is something we've been thinking about for a very long time. Practically, from a development standpoint, what Wallby is today, it has been in development for a little over 8 months. So we started developing the actual version that you can download now of Wallby at the early of this year. And we were finally able to launch it on open beta on Android since July 2023. It's a decentralized wallet, which is good, but the bad is that for now you have to trust us because it's closed source, and we know how bad that is in this kind of ecosystem. So by all means, consider Wallby as it is today as a beta. So it's closed source, don't consider it as a finished product. We do support Bitcoin. We fully support Liquid Network with also all the tokens and NFTs, and Wallby also includes full visualization of NFTs on Liquid Network, of course, if they're minted with a specific standard. And as far as we know, it's the only wallet, especially mobile wallet on the market, that can do that. And then, as I said, we also have rootstock, full rootstock support with all the tokens that are available on Sovereign, that are natively supported on Wallby, and then also the full experience of decentralized exchange and liquidity pools on Sovereign, which is the centralized finance suite on top of Rootstock. They're fully integrated into Wallby, so within a single application you can do swaps, you can give liquidity, you can earn a return on that liquidity you provide. So that's how Wallby is today as of last week, since the last update. How will Wallby be in the future? What is our vision for Wallby? We hope that Wallby will be fully released in something like 12 months from now. Our milestone for a full release is to have the main components of the application fully developed and open source. So we're not going to go for a full release before that, at least until the wallet is open source, because we know that that's very, very important. And this is also a timetable of the features we want to add. For reference, short term is something between 9 and 12 months. Medium term is over a year, and long term is probably over 2 years of effort. So very, very early, very, very soon, what we want to integrate is the peg in and peg out process from and to Liquid and from and to Rootstock, because we see now that it's very, very easy for people to get access to Bitcoin on-chain, but it's not that easy, even if it's becoming easier thanks to our friend at Bolt, but it's not that easy to move those Bitcoins from the main chain to the layer 1 to the layer 2s. So our users can put Bitcoin on Wallby, but then they have a hard time accessing the other features because they don't really know how to move those Bitcoins to other chains. So that's why we want to integrate the peg in and peg out process as soon as possible. Another thing that's very important we want to have approved as soon as possible is the iOS and desktop version. Spoiler, they're pretty much done, but of course, Apple doesn't approve the iOS version, so I think we are at the 3rd or 4th revision of the application. As soon as Apple wants to approve it, it's also going to be available on iOS. That's probably the main question we get at the moment. And again, as I said, the open source release, at least of the wallet component, that we want to push that out as soon as possible, but of course we have to make sure first that it's going to be stable and well documented. For the medium term, we're really looking into the Lightning Network integration and the RGB support, so also tokens on top of Lightning Network. Luckily, we already have a little bit of experience in that. That's why I named a few other companies of the ecosystem before, because in Bitcoin, we've been working on RGB since 2017. Probably we were the first company, I think, that Giacomo pitched the RGB manifesto to, and a couple of our former colleagues are now working in the Bitfinex team that is integrated RGB, so that's going to be hopefully a very fast integration when we have the time. With Lightning Network, as I mentioned before, comes also the Boltz integration. The guys at Boltz are doing an amazing job, and with the Boltz integration pretty much is an alternative to the peg-in and peg-out process, and it's something that lets you move funds from Bitcoin, Rootstock, and Lightning Network all around using and Liquid using Lightning Network. Another thing that we want to integrate as soon as possible is the Fiat Gateway. That's something of a wild horse, because we already have a company of the group that is regulated to provide that kind of service, but still, when you talk to providers about Bitcoin, it's still hard to get approved. So that could be ready in like a month or 12 months. Unfortunately, it's out of our competence, because the infrastructure is there. It's mostly a problem with suppliers. And then for the very, very long term, we want to actually delve into that concept of super app, so integrate as much Bitcoin-based product and services as we can. We're going to take a look at what I mean after this. And then we also would like to integrate a full DeFi suite on top of Bitcoin. At the moment, we are adopting Sovereign, which is just on Rootstock. What we envision is a cross-chain protocol that can actually bridge all the differences between the different layers. So also, if the user wants, also totally avoid having to deal with different networks and just to have a unified Bitcoin experience. And what I mean when I talk about Bitcoin-based products and services, I mean, in terms of products and services, I mean stuff that we've been already working on in Bicademy, and that's the stuff we are already selling to our business customers that I was talking to you about before. For example, we already have bNotary, which is a software for notarization, of course, built on top of open timestamps. Bfungible, which is a tokenization platform on Liquid, which makes minting tokens of Liquid very, very easy and convenient. We have bCustody, which is a system, I would say, to manage multi-signature wallets with the help of a trusted third party, and that's something that we found is very interesting for clients that come from other industries other than Bitcoin, because they are excited about Bitcoin. They want to have their balances, a little bit of their balances of their companies in Bitcoin, but they are afraid to keep the keys, keep everything. So basically what we do is to give them 2 of the keys and then give a third key to a trusted third party, and then have a linear process for backup if something goes wrong within the company. And then not really products, but something that is related to this concept of Bitcoin-based products and services is Nowcoin, which, as I mentioned before, is the company of our group, which is already regulated to operate as a gateway and an exchange. We are operating in Italy, and until MiCAR comes into effect, which is going to be later next year, with the Italian regulation, we are able to operate in all Europe. And just to give you an example, we have the same regulation that Binance has in Italy that lets Binance operate in the whole Europe. So we can theoretically do the same stuff that Binance does legally in Europe, and that's what we want to integrate for the Fiat Gateway and centralized exchange part. And then, of course, it's not really a product. It's parallel to actual Wallby, but it's Bitcoin. It's Wallby white label, because, as I said, there's different businesses that have asked us for a wallet solution, and we also want to give them the chance to have their own version of their own wallet to give to their customers, and to safely give their customers an actual Bitcoin wallet instead of creating semi-centralized monstrosities, and that's where Wallby white label comes in. I don't know what time it is actually, but okay, so good. These a couple of screenshots from Wallby. This is the dashboard that you can see if you open up the application. On the slide on the left, it's the wallet screen. So as soon as you enter, you're gonna have a little bit of a graph on the top that shows you your holding in terms of Bitcoin, liquid Bitcoin, and rootstock Bitcoin, and then a detailed list of all the assets. As you can see, there are the different type of Bitcoins on top, and for example, these two, they're tokens on Liquid, so then the list of the tokens starts. And of course, you can hide or show the tokens you are more interested in. That kind of changes with the network, because with Liquid, we are able to detect all the tokens you have. So you just have to receive a token on Liquid, and you can see, and it's gonna show automatically. Instead of rootstock, it's a little bit trickier at the moment. You're not gonna lose your funds if you send other tokens to Wallby, but only sovereign supported tokens are gonna show up, which is most of the tokens that are gonna be included on rootstock. This, for example, the screen in the middle is an example of what it's gonna look like to send or receive funds on Wallby. We wanted to make it as clear as possible which network you're dealing with. So for example, now this is a payment request on Liquid, and it's also gonna show it on the top and also in the QR code what network you're dealing with. And on the right, the feature we're very proud of is the NFT visualization, full visualization on Liquid for the NFTs. So this is just an example of a few NFTs we airdropped to the subscribers to our newsletter, and then an NFT we minted for the wedding of our president. So, and this is a second slide about a little bit of an example of what you can expect. This is more related to the rootstock / decentralized finance experience. Probably you noticed before, when you are in the wallet, you're gonna have the list of tokens or the visualization of the NFTs, and then you're gonna have two quite noticeable big and red buttons, swap and pools, and those buttons are gonna take you straight to the decentralized finance experience on Sovereign on top of rootstock, which looks like this. So as you can see, you can easily access the decentralized exchange on Sovereign on rootstock, and you can swap between all the assets that are included in Sovereign. In the middle, you can see instead the users flow to add or remove liquidity to a liquidity pool. So Wallby already includes ways to make your Bitcoins to work, because it is a decentralized wallet, and you can just load in your rootstock Bitcoin, which is our 100% Bitcoins, and then just put them in a sovereign pool, and you're gonna have a passive yield on those Bitcoins. And that's going to be completely decentralized. So it's not some kind of proof. It's not some kind of staking or stuff like that. It's actually fees coming from the decentralized exchange. And then on the right hand side, this is the summary screen from the pools, and that's where you're going to be able to monitor the liquidity you put into the pools, and the available pools where you can put your liquidity in. Good. So that was actually all for me. I wanted to be very quick. I think we have a couple more minutes, so I don't know if we have time for questions. As I said, Wallby at the moment is available only on Android. It's ready for iOS as well, but Apple won't approve it for now. If you scan the QR code, it's going to take you to the Wallby website. From there, you have all the relevant links. You have the direct link to the Android store to download the Android version of the application. And then also don't forget to sign up for our newsletter, and inputting also your Bitcoin rootstock and Liquid addresses, because we have some surprises for the subscribers. So we've already airdropped a few commemorative tokens, and we're probably also going to do an airdrop to celebrate our participation to Amsterdam, so don't miss that out. And also here is all my contact information. You're gonna be seeing me walking around today and tomorrow, so just stop me if you want to chat, if you have any question. And also tonight there's gonna be the IOV Labs Rootstock meetup, so I'm also gonna be there, and hopefully see you there. And again, stop me to chat, or you can get in touch however you want. If there's any question, I think we have a couple more minutes left, something like that. Well, of course, the first part comes from wallet, so and Bitcoin. I guess it's very banal, and with a stylization with a Y to make it more, I guess, internationally recognizable and readable. Yes, I mean, I think so. That would be the whole spirit of the white label. So we don't really have. I guess that's more like a question for our legal and marketing team. But I think yes, because that's the whole point of a white label. Also, something I didn't mention about the white label version is we designed Wallby to be 100% modular, because one of the feedback we get a lot about Wallby is, wow, that's great. I've always thought about something like this. How come nobody did it before? We think that nobody did it before because it's not a difficult task to build something like Wallby, but it's a complex task because there's many different components to fit in a small package, especially when you want to make many different layers with totally different architecture, because as I said, Rootstock is an EVM, account-based Ethereum virtual machine, whereas Liquid and Bitcoin are UTXO-based. And that's a little bit tricky to have all those components in a single application with a single dashboard, with a single backup, with a single user experience to sign, receive transactions. So the idea is that most of the effort was having all those different components speak to each other, but that's also helped us create Wallby, as I said, in a modular way. So for example, we might have a client that is interested in a white label Wallby, but their token is on Rootstock, and they also want their users to be able to do decentralized finance, so we can give them a white label Wallby with just Rootstock support. Or at the same time, I don't know, maybe we could be dealing with a customer one of the services we provide is the point of sale. So maybe one of our customers only accepts Bitcoin with their point of sales, and they want to be able to give a Bitcoin wallet with their logo to their customers, but they're not interested in either Liquid or Rootstock, so we can just give them a white label Bitcoin-only Wallby. So that's the idea, and definitely also the name can change. Yes, absolutely. Any more questions? Good, I think we have a couple more minutes. So, what else? No, sir? We haven't been able to look into that yet, but that's definitely one of the Bitcoin-based products and services that are gaining traction. So we might definitely look into that. The issue we're facing right now with development is that, as I was saying, Wallby is still incubated within Bicademy. So the development team has to divide themselves between the Wallby development and following the actual paying customers of Bicademy. So that's why we're mostly working on let's say, the bare minimum features, so that Wallby can be used by people and enjoyed by people, and all the accessory features, let's say, are going to come in a second time. As I said, probably the priority at the moment is the peg-in and peg-out mechanism and the Lightning Network integration, but with Greenlight, we're already talking with our partners at Blockstream and with our partners at Bitfinex for RGB, so that's mostly a matter of having the hours and the people to throw at the problem. So that's mostly a matter of time, but those are our priorities once we have a stable foundation, a wallet foundation, and then we're going to start building on top of that, and Nostr and that kind of application are definitely something we're looking into it. Good, so thank you again. we were asking people at the beginning, and nobody had downloaded Wallby yet. I don't know, any of the new people that arrived, does anyone have downloaded Wallby already? Did you guys try it out? Yeah, no, yeah. Okay, so a lot of people using iPhone. Good. I mean, that's probably a skewed metrics because in Italy, I think Android is going more, but hopefully it's going to be available on iOS very soon. So thank you again for coming. It's been great to be here, and thank you all for taking the time for coming here and hear about Wallby. If you want to try it out on Android, the QR code is going to take you to the website. And if you see me around today, tomorrow night at the IOV Labs Rootstock meetup, which is going to be very close to here, just stop me and say hi. If you have any questions, I'm available for discussing anything. So thank you again.
Thank you, Miami, for the last 3 years in this amazing city. The whole world shut down, but Miami welcomed us with open arms. We want to show Bitcoin to the whole world. We are taking the conference on the road to set the stage for Bitcoin in a new city. Nashville. Bitcoin 2024 is coming to Nashville in Tennessee, a city that is known as a music and freedom city. Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville from July 25th to 27th.